high 89 points as the Cardinals went on to beat Pittsburgh 24-10. Kyler Murray's numbers, not eye-popping, but did enough. No turnovers, 13 to 23, 145 yards, and that touchdown to Trey McBride. James Conner also ran for 105 and had 2 touchdowns against his former team. Jax?
I had a question for you, Manuch.
Throw it out there, Jay.
So I'm not Jax, but I got a question.
Go for it.
Okay, cool.
What a compliment.
I don't know why I said Jax. I'm looking right at you.
That's I know.
And I'm looking at
That's
Jax.
why I didn't say anything.
Jax and I are talking during the break. My bad.
No big deal. So Manuch, with what you have seen now from Kyler Murray, and if they were to win one other game, they are no longer now getting that top draft choice as it is today. So you're going to stay with Kyler Murray. You're not going to try to trade up with your draft pick and try to get into that top spot to take Caleb Williams.
If I can get Caleb Williams, absolutely. If I can get up in there and pick him, and even if they feel, hey, look, we're looking at the future, there's still incomplete with Kyler Murray how he finishes the season, and they're looking at the upside of one Caleb Williams. I'm going to do all I can. But the Cardinals are pretty much going to probably blow it by winning another game or two.
Right.
And he might be gone. So at that point, what's your next priority? Excuse me. Is it going to be a lineman? Is it going to be a receiver? What's it going to be? And I think that's the kind of scenario that they're going to have to take a look at.
Frank Sanders now on the right to the guest line. How you doing today, Frank?
Hey, brothers. How you guys doing? Happy Monday. I know last week was a sad Monday because we lost to the Rams, but look at what the Cardinals came back and turned up an egg in the beautiful city of Pittsburgh.
Have you had some good games there in Pittsburgh? It's not an easy place to win.
They hadn't won. No, I have not had one good game in Pittsburgh, even when I was with the Ravens.
Really?
So if you were back in 1969, looking way back at the old Three Rivers, and you weren't, Frank, and then aside from that, that's been a long, long time ago. That might be a record as far as somebody going to town and not winning in a certain city.
It's crazy, right? When you hear that stat and you see how long the NFL has been around, as well as the Cardinals, and to realize that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been such a historical franchise, and then the Cardinals have not had a win there. I mean, it's crazy to think of that, but in reality, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been, a much more dominant organization than Arizona Cardinals have.
Frank, you look at this Cardinals team, and obviously if they're going to win, they got to have James Conner run for 100 plus, what have you. But it seems as though for Kyler Murray, since he's been back, that the initiation of the tight end is back, with McBride and Swaim having 10 of the 13 completions. You think that's by design, or you think that's just the comfort level of Kyler right now, or maybe just the lack of coverage out there in Hollywood and Rondale Moore and Michael Wilson, quite frankly, hasn't been available?
Honestly, I really think it's just all by design. We got to look at our coaching staff and where they come from, and the essence of using, the importance of using the tight end. Our OC comes from from Cleveland, and they had Joakim over there. That they're 6'6" man of a tight end. They was throwing the ball to him consistently with that running game that was in Cleveland with Nick Chubb and those guys. And so when you see him coming to the Cardinals and realizing that we had Trey McBride, Zach Ertz, a young McBride, and then Zach Ertz, who's been, prolific with tight end in the NFL, you got to make a decision what you're going to do. How is your offense players? Are the players on your offense matching your offensive system that you're bringing in, or are you trying to match the players that they already have here? And I think he's done a wonderful job. We've seen in the preseason how much use the tight end was getting. And he's just continued that trend with Kyler.
Well, okay, that all being said, then is the next piece to try even more so to incorporate a Marquise Brown or Michael Wilson once he's healthy. And I feel bad for Rondale Moore. He drops one, but he catches one for a dinger, but he gets called back. I don't know if it's just by design or the shots aren't there, but they need to add some kind of threats down the field, wouldn't you think?
No, I would agree with you 100%. I mean, I think that's the kind. So we're looking at a system that's new with our original quarterback, right? With our first round draft pick, our stud $42 million quarterback, and this is game number 5 that he's actually played in, and so teams are still trying to figure him out. I think that teams are more cascading on the idea that we'll let our front seven beat your front seven, and then we'll play deep in regards to the wide receiving core. I agree with you. I feel sad for our receivers right now because honestly, if I have a free agency opportunity, I probably want to come back to next year, seeing where my passing opportunities, my receiving opportunities have been in this offense, and I hope that it only gets better as Kyler gets better in the system. Our running games become more effective. Our tight end becomes a bigger part. That changes the defense and how they play against us. It's not more of a zone coverage. They have to bring a man in the box. They have to come down with 9 personnel instead of having a 4-3 defense or something like that. It changes everything, and I think the offense is evolving as the weeks go forward. But I like what I see thus far. If this is how the Cardinals got to win, like you guys have said multiple times a day, is that it's definitely different from what you're seeing of the past Cardinals to now.
Frank Sanders is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Frank, then take me to what you have seen from Kyler Murray. When we first saw him on the field, he was just almost spectacular. That first game was pretty good. The second, just okay. The third, and then in a game which has rainstorms and is stopped a couple of times as well, he's not eye-popping numbers, but he does not make any mistakes. Are you getting more comfortable now with Kyler Murray as opposed to maybe what I asked Manute before you came on the show, making a deal to trade up to get another quarterback? Can you make that determination?
Not another quarterback. Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams. Only. Yes, only Caleb.
Clarify that. Yeah. Clarify that.
Only Caleb Williams.
Only Caleb Williams. Yes.
Man, if it was that easy, I would. I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of owners that would only like to have certain players, but it just doesn't work that way. What I am getting comfortable with is I think seeing that Drew Petzing, JG as the head coach, and what they're realizing that they have in their possession now, and what Kyler means to the team, and what the difference what he brings to the table. And I think the players see the same thing. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that you get to see watching these guys go out and fight again. Like Pittsburgh, that's not a pushover place, it's not a pushover city, and the weather isn't conducive to what this team has been known for at all. We're not a ground and pound team. Our tight end hasn't been a dominating factor. Defense has been something that is an anomaly, but they've carried the team thus far. So, I mean, you have to be excited with what you're seeing in your coaching staff and how well they have adjusted for 4 quarters of football with this team. I mean, that's regardless of wins or loss. These coaches have coached 4 quarters of football. The only game that I thought they got out-coached was really the Los Angeles Rams, where it looked like they just got out-coached on every side of the football field. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to see that Kyler realized that you don't have to be the stud. I mean, there's a reason why they paid JC his money. We went out and got, you got an offensive lineman that you have. They drafted a first round draft pick with an offensive lineman. They're giving you pieces that is supposed to be additions to a great team. No quarterback in the NFL just does it by himself. He has pieces that make it work, and then you have an offensive coordinator and some coaches that can flat out coach their butts off with the player, with the personnel they have. I think I see that in the Cardinals. I'm with you guys. I don't know what the next 4 games are going to hold because it definitely determines, what's going to happen in the draft. The Cardinals could be the upsetters of a lot of playoff predictions and a lot of playoff teams if they go out and play hard and fight for 4 quarters, or we can lay down and fight hard to get Caleb Williams. And I'm just not sure if he's necessarily the answer to what we need.
He's Frank Sanders, always nice enough to join us on Mondays at this time. We'll let you get back to the golf game, and thanks for some time today, buddy.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you giving me my love back to me. I love golf.
I know. You were on suspension for a little bit there, so now you're back. So we're good. We're back at it now.
Hey, can I make a prediction?
Oh, please,
sir.
I'm pretty good at my predictions.
Oh, they're great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. The
Cardinals are going to win 10.
The 10 wins?
Yeah, 10-win prediction. Yeah, all right.
Oh, I know. 15 wins next year, right? Is that what you're going?
Hey, the Cardinals have their great – the Cardinals have their charity golf event tomorrow, man, at Wild Horse Pass. I predict we will not win with my foursome.
Oh.
Wow. Wow. Well, you have fun out there, and I'm sure you got a couple Sharpies. to sign all those autographs. So who gets the most attention at that?
Great question.
Larry?
Larry
Larry don't even like coming to charity events like that.
Really?
He don't. He says it doesn't make sense to play 5-hour golf.
I can see that.
There's some truth to that.
Yeah, there is.
Truth to that. Well, hey, hit him
That's
straight,
Larry.
and I'm sure you'll look good at least. So
Yeah.
have fun.
All right, brother.
All
Love
right.
you guys.
Thank
Have
you,
a
buddy.
good one.
That's
See
Frank Sanders joining us here, courtesy of All City Towing. They're hiring. Go to allcitytowing.com and search careers. All right, coming up, what's on tap tonight? There's only one thing. Well, actually, there's two. It's Monday Night Football and the Yotes. We'll get into that. And we're going to We're going to have Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson, as they signed off with SEC on CBS. You won't be able to say that anymore. We'll play some of that next. It's Jimmy B from Casino Arizona.
Clear. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
The Baltimore Ravens in real life are the real deal, and I feel way 10 times better about my pick that they will win the Super Bowl, especially because they can win in so many ways, Chris. And that, to me, is what you need. And they have it.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Today at 5, tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.